Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you enjoyed lunch and welcome back to the 41st Ryder Cup. Pleased to be joined by Danny Willett. Danny, thanks for your time. After a good week of lead up and such, and suddenly we're 18 hours from the first ball being struck, how anxious are you and your teammates to just play some golf tomorrow morning?
Yeah, obviously there's a few things that have been said, but we're here to do one job. We're here as a team, and yeah, I think we're all looking forward to kind of getting it underway. We obviously went to a gala dinner last night with the American guys, and I think they feel the same way. So I just think we're 24 guys just wanting to play some golf.
Let's do it. All right, let's hit the floor for some questions here. Let's start out with number 3 on our right, please.
Danny, could you give us an idea of how the conversation with your brother went last night, please?
It was similar to obviously the conversation I had in the middle of the day. We spoke to each other about what was said and how it got interpreted and the reactions from it. And I was disappointed in what he wrote, and obviously it put a bit of a downer on my first Ryder Cup for the last couple of days. Luckily, it's not been too bad with the fans. The fans have still been great. There's a few shouts out there, but you can expect that. But yeah, so far it's been pretty good, and hopefully, everyone can kind of draw a line under it, and like we said, we can just come out here and play some golf.
Back to number 3, please, on the right.
Hey Danny, when you heard about the article, was that one of the concerns that what had been said might potentially make you a bit of a target for the fans out on the course?
Yeah, obviously coming to America, you're already a bit of a target. Obviously the European team for the 12 guys, and yeah, it kind of centred attention a little bit more, obviously upon myself, maybe. Like I said, what was said wasn't my writing, wasn't the team's writing, or anything like that. So. As I've said in previous things, I spoke to Davis yesterday, and he was happy to draw a line under it, and obviously, it was nothing that I mean or that I've said, and I spoke to some of the American guys last night, and they felt the same way. So, in an ideal world, the fans would do the same thing, and we won't let it tarnish. Obviously, it's my first Ryder Cup, but we won't let it tarnish the 41st Ryder Cup.
Danny, let's go to number 4, please.
Danny, just what kind of a resource has Lee Westwood been for you in terms of such a veteran who's been here and can maybe help you kind of get through things early on here?
Yeah, me and Lee have been good pals now for a few years. I was fortunate enough to make the team a long time ago and to be able to pick his and Clarkie's brain about a few things and what to expect. And I think this is his 10th Ryder Cup. I think he's not far off tying Faldo's record, I think it is. So. To have someone like that on the team and still playing some great golf is a massive asset to Team Europe.
Straight back, number 1.
Danny, hi, Patrick Snell from CNN World Sport. Elaborate a bit more on just how hard it's been to focus in the wake of your brother's unfortunate comments. Yeah,
that's been the toughest thing, I guess. What was said, and there's no going back on anything like that. So, like I said, I spoke to Davis and spoke to the guys, and hopefully we can draw a line. But yeah, it's been pretty tricky for me to get back on and actually fully focus again this last few hours, especially this morning. So like I said, we've got a few little bits to do this afternoon. I've got media here, and then we're going to try and get some nice, good, quiet practice, and hopefully for the hour before the opening ceremony, and then go back, get rested up, and like I said, come tomorrow morning. Not saying that it's going to be completely forgotten, but hopefully it's died down a little bit more, and hopefully, we can all get on with what we're here to do.
Let's go back right, number 3, and then we'll come to 4.
Danny, Pete's obviously written quite a few articles since the Masters. Did you have any idea that was the topic he was going to choose? Have you had any input previously into anything he's written?
No, I've not had any input, no. Obviously, he's a writer. It's one of those things. I guess because he's my brother, it kind of gives people a little bit more reason to read some of the things, based within the golfing circumstances. They obviously think that, I don't know, either he spoke to me or he gets all the things from me, but he's a rider, and unfortunately that's not quite panned out great these last few days, that it's obviously associated with myself, but that's, like I said, that's nothing to do with me. If it was somebody else and his last name wasn't Willett, nobody would really be making that much of a fuss about it. So it's just an unfortunate circumstance that, that was written, and that's what my brother does.
Straight back number 4.
So, Danny, how was the reception during the practice round? And I guess you got a drive off the fairway and ended up hitting the spectator.
Yeah, that was on the second. Bless him, he knocked it backwards actually. No, it was all right. It was what you can expect. I don't think anyone ever came to America, any of the European lads, and thought that it was going to be a walk in the park. There's some pretty rowdy American fans at every Ryder Cup. That's the nature of the beast. That's what happens. The same when the guys come to Europe. Obviously, the European spectators are more behind the European team. That's how things work. So, like I said, you don't mind the odd little bit of heckling. We just hope it doesn't go too far.
On our left, number 2.
Danny, yourself aside, obviously your family are out here. I think I'm right in saying your parents are out here. What impact has this whole kind of furore had on them, and were they always happy to stay here after this kind of blew up, or was there any question of them maybe going home?
Like I said, it's an unfortunate one as a rookie. This is supposed to be a special week. It's the first one, hopefully, of many, and we're all here trying to have a great time and trying to be in and around, what is a dream come true. In slipping on a European Ryder Cup shirt. They were upset with the whole thing and how it came about, and obviously what's been said. They spoke to Pete last night, and obviously had a good chat with him. I don't exactly know what about. I've not fully spoken to him fully about it, so I'm not quite sure. But they were there again today, walking inside the ropes with me and showing their support, and that's all I can ask.
Straight down number 1 here.
Yeah, are you going to ask your brother to stop writing and tweeting about golf and you in the future if it's going to affect you on the course?
I think if it affects things like that, it's not a great thing, obviously, for myself. Got to be relatively selfish in all of this and say that, I appreciate it, maybe his career, but it's also mine at the same time. So I'm sure we'll have a good chat when I get home after this week.
Straight back number 3.
Danny, I might be alone in this room in thinking this, but reading your brother's piece, it seemed to me pretty obvious that he was joking. And I actually thought it was funny. Is there any part of you that thinks the reaction is overblown and how a little ridiculous maybe that you have to apologize, that the captains have to talk to each other, etc.?
I think it's a tough one. I think the apology that I put across was I meant it, and obviously I didn't mean for anyone to be offended by it. Obviously I didn't write it, so there's nothing that I could have said or done to have changed that. I have now read it, and I don't think the language was obviously all that great, and I think a lot of the things that were said, can be taken a very bad way, and obviously that's what's happened. I still don't think it was correct in what was said. I think it's a very difficult one. Like I said, if he wasn't associated with me, we wouldn't be here talking about it. We'd be talking about the 12 guys and trying to get on and play some golf tomorrow. But it's just an unfortunate circumstance that obviously it is my brother, and he's written some things there that have offended people, and like I said, we're just trying to move on now and come tomorrow morning. You've got 24 of the best golfers in the world trying to go head to head.
Let's go on the far right, number 3.
Danny, you've apologised, but has Pete apologised to you, or do you get the sense that Pete's kind of standing by the words that he's written?
Pete's apologised to me, yeah. On the phone, he apologised for obviously the kind of things that's obviously thrown up from this, and obviously how it's kind of been taken over here. He's apologised to me, yeah.
Straight down 1, please.
Just 2 quick ones for you. 1, do you feel like you need to say something directly to American golf fans? And number 2, how does this impact the quality of the Christmas gift that you will now get your brother?
Family's family. Still my brother. What he said was wrong and obviously incredibly ill-timed, but he is still my brother. And like I said, I did a couple of interviews with the Golf Channel and Sky Sports after speaking to Davis, and we felt like we said what we needed to say. Obviously, I've been asked a few questions in here, so hopefully that's kind of answered that first part of that question.
Okay, we have time for 2 or 3 more. Let's start with 3.
Danny, had he ever said anything to you that might have given you any idea that he felt this way? Or do you know of anything that might have happened to him that might have coloured the strength of his feeling?
I have no idea, to be honest. We don't speak about, obviously, specific things all the time. If he's had an experience, he's had an experience. All the experiences I've had in America have been pretty good so far within my golfing life and within life. I was at college out here for 2 years, and I've enjoyed coming to America now for the last 8-9 years of my career. So, well, you know, whether anything's happened to him, I'm not quite sure.
Okay, 2 more. 1 and then 3, please. Number 1.
How would you feel about playing against Jordan Spieth?
I think playing against anyone here would be great. Obviously, Jordan's a fantastic player. You know, I think you ask anybody about playing with anybody or against anybody, and you know, we're all just here. We've put a lot of good work in, a lot of good preparation, and we're all looking forward to playing whoever we play tomorrow.
Let's put a wrap on it. Number 3 on the right.
Yeah, Danny, to move on from all of this that has happened, this is obviously your first Ryder Cup, as you've said. You're one of the 6 rookies. What has been your favourite part of the week so far? And with golf about to kick off tomorrow, opening ceremony coming up this afternoon, what are you looking forward to the most?
It's just a whole team atmosphere, you know. 103 out of every 104 weeks, we're a very individual sport. We play a lot on our own, we practice on our own. And then for 1 week in every 2 years, you come together as a team. And because we play a lot of golf in Europe, we're a very closely knit team, and I think that really comes out, you know, within this environment. We've got some great people in the backroom staff, and you know, helping out, and we've had some great people send messages in and come and speak to us, and you know, all of these things you just add up to fantastic memories and fantastic experiences. And I don't think I can really pick out one thing in particular. It's just so far for me, obviously it's been tarnished slightly, but the first 3 days have been brilliant. You know, we've been welcomed fantastically by the American fans, like you are everywhere where we play golf. So yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward. I've got another hour practice after we get done here.